is up, everybody? Welcome to the newest episode of the Some Ordinary Podcast. We are here with our lovely co-hosts Muda and Caleb, as always. And for the first time, DarkViperAU, known for talking about important issues like consent.
Oh, what's the AU stand for? What's the AU stand for?
Universe. That's my head.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Man. It's the Dark Viper Gold, as everyone knows.
Okay, yeah, cool. Cool.
Okay, that's like that's what puts us on an intellectual tier different, because we just have to like literally bring up the fucking periodic table on this one. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
True. Aurum, our boy Dark Viper Aurum over here.
Dark Viper asked us before this, are we live? And thank fucking Lord we're not live, because goddamn, this is the third day in a row that I fire up Twitter when I wake up just on the toilet and I see the words Ethan Klein trending, and I was like looking at it, I'm like, damn, dude, he's still that whole clip is just shared around by everyone in the political
because
sphere.
to be fair, it's I have not seen many stupider statements made in all of YouTube. And he's competing with like some real juggernauts.
When you said we'd be talking about it initially, I was like, oh shit, because I haven't seen this clip. I've only heard about it secondhand. If you want to describe it to me, I'd appreciate it. But I know basically what he said. But
just don't describe it in word for word, all right?
Yeah,
because you'll go right to jail.
So generally the clip, basically he's on the podcast. It's like him and his wife, just like they're like talking about They're talking about a certain situation that happened in Texas, right? Like, they're talking in relation to that. Now, of course, inside this clip, he makes a few jokes, and one of the jokes involves, setting off some fireworks near a certain Republican, tiered organization.
That's very that has a lot of people in it.
All
and the fireworks
heads are getting together in one place. And then he made a very bold suggestion that you would hear from.
The fireworks aren't necessarily meant for like entertainment either.
No.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. Now, he immediately walked it back. Now, the clip that's floating around on Twitter, right, does not have like the extra, I think, like 10 seconds of context.
Yeah.
Where
but there was also like a 3-second pause. Initially, that was like that silence was deafening. Like 3 seconds, and you're like, okay, I will walk that back.
Like it's one of those things where like you'll say it's a joke, but then like you look at the person making the joke, and it's like, do they really think it's a joke? Because I don't think they think it's a joke. Right?
Ethan has this problem where he seems to believe like insulting things that he finds funny are jokes just because he finds them funny. In the same way that when we responded to my React situation, he just insulted me for like minutes on end. He's like, it was just jokes.
Yeah,
well,
like, you said you had dilated, pupils
like,
and everything.
Those aren't jokes. You're just insulting me, and you find it funny. Like that's not the same thing. He gets in a lot of drama, Ethan, unsurprisingly.
I think it's just like I think we talked about it maybe 2 episodes ago, or maybe it was last episode with Destiny. But like the entire idea was like I think it's part of me thinks it's like a way for him to have a clip rotating every other like month,
He just likes to say crazy shit.
Talking. Yeah.
No, I mean, I whenever anyone does something that gets traction, the thought is always, oh, this is some Machiavellian shit. He's on like playing 5-dimensional chess or whatever it is. I always doubt that. I don't think Ethan's a genius. I think he just says a lot of shit, and that's why he's always in the news.
I mean, to be fair,
right? It's possible that he realizes that if he's unfiltered, this will happen a lot. But I don't think he's like pre-planning any of this shit.
I don't think so.
You don't think he's the Trump of YouTube? Playing 4D chess?
No.
Like, YouTube runs... Many YouTube videos just do well if you have an extreme opinion. Like, when it comes to Elden Ring, if you're going to make a review of Elden Ring, you're either going to say it's amazing, the best game ever made, or it's complete trash, overrated. No one does the middle of the road. So I think when he starts recording, he's like, I'm going to take this extreme side, and then he just turns his brain off and rambles. That's kind of the impression I got.
Yeah, I mean...
I feel like that's a lot of gaming YouTube.
I do actually have a middle-of-the-road opinion on Elden Ring.
But you didn't make a video.
So do I, actually. Yeah.
I after platinuming the game on just after doing like basically everything, my opinion on Elden Ring is like, I like the game. I just don't like the 40% of repeated bosses that I had to go through to get there.
I'm just not big on the open world aspects. Yeah. Like I loved every single Souls game, but I love boss fights, and so the going through all the collectible crafting stuff to find bosses and stuff, I didn't like that. Yeah. Every boss fight that I played was amazing, but it was just took a little bit too long for me to get stuff. I don't know. I want to go back to the game and finish it eventually, but
It's definitely one of those games that benefits when you just have more time to play it.
I just don't have the time like I used to have to dedicate.
That's why I stopped playing it, because it was taking too long.
Well, it's one of the reasons why like I would hate it if like GTA 6 dropped in the next month or something, and I was like, I don't have any time to like just sit down and play this. Look, it's like Red Dead 2, right? Like, I know that, Matt, you have a pretty negative opinion on Red Dead 2. It's
just too slow. Same sort of thing same position I had on Elden Ring, but with Red Dead Redemption 2, a lot of the stuff that made it slow, I think if they changed it, it would just be better for everyone. Like in Elden Ring, I can admit the things that I don't like, I'm like in the minority there. Like I'm like, yeah, this open world is very cool for people who like open worlds. I just don't like open worlds. With Red Dead 2, like the slowness of a lot of the animations and a lot of the it's just
skinning animals.
Yeah,
things like that.
There's just so much that elongates the game unnecessarily in the sake of realism, which I think if you removed, no one would notice it was removed, but it would just be a much more trimmed down experience. You know?
Yeah, I actually played the game. I rebeat it like 2 weeks ago, and I installed 3 mods. All 3 of the mods sped up animations, and it took me 40 hours instead of 80, like it took the first time.
It was even worse on my list. They actually dialed it back a little bit. Afterwards.
Yeah, it reminds me of like just playing GTA Online again, and some of those like newer heists when like, for instance, right, like in the first GTA heist, like when he's like your player character just puts like 1 stack of cash in the bag, and then in the new one they're like, Rockstar's like, oh fuck it, rake it all in, just fucking, we gotta run. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, but that's generally like what I get. I don't know. I don't have that many. None of us have time to play like a super slow game like that. It's one thing like if we were in our teenage years and it's like, oh wow, all we have is school and like some other non-important bullshit in a video game to fucking waste our time on. Now it's like when I was playing Red Dead 2 again, I'm like, oh fuck, he's really gonna like look at every single can of food inside the fucking cupboard. Like, no, just throw that shit in your
Back in the day, when I was younger, I would literally grind achievements in World of Warcraft, as in fly around the map, picking up critters and stuff. I must have spent like thousands of hours doing the most mind-numbing, boring shit that I would not touch with a 10-foot pole today. That's just the wonders of being young with no responsibilities, I suppose.
Honestly, like, even, like, okay, so here's a great example of a game that fucking just kills your time. So Assassin's Creed, the new shit that's come out, so they have this, like, Valhalla, which I've never beaten the core game because it's just that fucking long. Like, even when I was, like, hospitalized, I was home. Like, fucking, I had nothing better to do than play a video game. I fired that up, and I'm like, this is so fucking boring. I'm just going to this one point on the map, killing 3 guys over and over and over again. And so then I did the math, right? I'm like, okay, so I'm 70 hours into the game, right? Fuck the sunk cost fallacy. I'm just going to stop playing right here. Who fucking knows if it's going to take me 150 hours to see the credits roll? Then I loaded up Assassin's Creed 2, and I counted my whole hours played. I'm like 16 hours total. I beat the whole fucking game and enjoyed all that content again. I'm like, wow. Immediate, like, here's fucking filler. Shitty Netflix adaptation filler, and then here's like the actual product that like takes way less time to finish, and you get way more enjoyment. I'm like, no, I don't have that time for single player shit. But I think a lot of it is due to the fact that they release these games, they have them filled up with like these analytic like trackers, so like, they know what like gets people addicted.
That's what,
right?
Because Origins and Odyssey were both like very similar in terms of like the amount of stuff you can do, but there's just so many more little things that just drew you to meaningless stuff in Valhalla for some reason. It was just so, because Origins was great, I thought, and Odyssey was really good because I love Greek history and like mythology, and then Valhalla I was like, this is cool as fuck, but then I just stopped playing it and didn't even like realize why. It's because it was just boring. It just kept making you do stupid shit.
Well, it's one of those games where it's like, hey, are you an assassin? Wait, no, wait, Assassin's Creed? No, we're fucking Nordic Vikings now, and that's pretty much the whole story. Fuck the whole assassin angle of it. But that's, I don't know, that's gaming for me in general. And, you know, it's not enough time in the day to fucking partake in it, okay?
Games these days just seem a lot more padded out than back in the past. I've recently decided to go back and play some of the great games that I've never played, like, you know, the Mafias and Max Payne and stuff. And I'm looking at the average time to completion. It's like 10 hours, 15 hours, max 20 hours. Not many AAA games that you get brought out today you can finish in 20 hours, right? Everyone seems to want to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And I can respect Elden Ring for at least it's a huge game, but at least it's full of stuff, rather than, as you're saying, with Assassin's Creed, where it's just a lot of repetitive bullshit. Although you did also imply that Elden Ring has a bit of repetitive bullshit in it as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reused fucking bosses all the time. It's like, hey, you like this boss? How about fight both of it at the same time?
I mean, Dark Souls 2 had that problem too.
Yeah,
but to some extent.
I don't know. I loved Elden Ring, and I think you can speed through the game. Like, once you beat it the first time and you did your exploring, you can really linearly go and fight, like, just all the demigods, like, all the big bosses. Like, you can really skip everything.
I mean, finding stuff in the open world is what eats all the time. Once you know the stuff's there, like, you can do it like that. Like, look at the speedrun.
I loved how smooth that game ran, man. Like, I just have to appreciate that I played a game day one that ran smooth for me at least.
You did.
Right? Like,
I did not. It was fucking horrendous, dude.
You guys,
mine crashed a lot.
A lot of you guys bought it on PC. This is why I don't. This is why I don't fucking buy shit on PC anymore. Okay, like I pay the same fucking money to play it, and then it runs like ass. And then the worst part is, you go on the fucking Steam charts, and everyone's like, "Oh, are you playing on your gaming laptop?" I'm like, "Oh, not this fucking shit again." Okay, I'm not on my gaming laptop. I'm on my big ass gaming computer that cost me thousands of dollars to build. What's the fucking problem? And then like everyone, the thing I hate about like PC gaming is like everyone tries to be an intelligent fuck about it. But I would wager 95% of the people have no fucking idea what's going on in their computer, right? On Steam. And they just like throw out random shit, run it as administrator. Hey, fucking set this setting. I'm like, no, that's not what it is. It came out later that the engine that they were using just had like shader compilation issues. So like you basically just had to play the game once, and then your second playthrough would be stutter free because it would just like compile all those shaders. The shaders have to compile every time you see something new. It was fucking annoying. Nobody understood it, and that's the whole reason why I don't buy those games on PC. I just like, if I'm going to spend the same $60, I'll just buy it on the PS5 or fucking whatever the Xbox Series shit is. Call it a day. I don't fucking deal with any of that crazy, like, lag, day one stuttering, any of that bullshit. I don't have time for that. No one has.
Let's talk about Ethan Klein again.
No. Well, I was thinking this is an interesting conversation. I'd react to this conversation and re-upload it with the same title as the original video. That's what I would do. Interesting stuff.
Well, okay, listen. To segue hard back into the whole Ethan stuff, right? I think it's fucked up to make jokes like that, all right? Because you know damn well, in the system that we have, right? A lot of those people, like, you know, would just demonize the other side.
Yes.
If they made those same exact jokes, right? And the thing is, if we're trying to argue about consistency on platforms, it's good that everyone gets a strike for making fucked up jokes. I'm like, or it's not even a joke in my opinion. It's like you just straight up fucking talked about setting off fireworks that you shouldn't have. Right?
I've gotten strikes for saying things that aren't illegal, like a lot of times. I'm pretty sure, like, if you said that anywhere, if you're just like, if you told the police, or like if you were on the radio, let's say, if you were on the radio. For one, dude, Howard Stern got fucked in the early 2000s for just saying sexual related things, not saying, hey, you should bomb these people. You know what I mean? Like the FCC, there has to be some kind of...
Bomb those people with love, right?
Yeah, exactly. Bomb those people with kindness. Kill them with kindness.
Yeah, exactly.
Massacre, in Minecraft. The FCC would fine him like millions of dollars if this was real life, not on YouTube, or like real life, quote unquote. I understand that this is the real thing now, but like... I don't know. I just feel like they're in his apology too on Twitter. It was just like, bro, what are you doing?
What apology?
He said fuck all of you who cared or something, didn't he?
Yeah, what the fuck? And then he just said it's like only conservatives got mad at him. Only conservatives got mad at him.
And then he's like,
somehow, like, what are you talking about, bro?
Conservatives are being anti-Semitic right now. I don't know what that says about you guys. Did you see that tweet?
Yeah,
it's so fucking dumb, dude.
The thing about it is like how politicized like some of these issues end up really becoming. Like it used to be, I would say, maybe it was because we were kids and we didn't look at the world in such a fucking pessimistic lens. It didn't used to be like either or like the left or the right side was just openly calling out for crazy shit like that. At least it seemed like there was more of like, hey, we could at least have a conversation with somebody, right? Like it's nowadays it's almost like if you're a left-leaning guy, like I consider myself left-leaning, right? But like if I go on YouTube and I look at the other left-leaning friends that I have, I'm basically taught that all conservatives are complete demon worshippers.
Yeah, there's no unity. We're not human beings. Okay. It's like we're fucking different species.
And the same thing with the right-leaning side, right? Like those extreme right guys.
Oh,
like,
dude.
Anybody with a left-leaning thought is a fucking cuck loser.
Yeah,
like
liberal tears. I drink liberal tears.
It's social media and constant needs to purity test. Like, if even if you have a small opinion of like, oh, they're not that bad. It's like, what? Are you like one of them? You're not like one of us. And it's like, oh no, I'm just kidding. They fucking suck. Don't worry about it. You just if you have those kind of middle of the road opinions, you just don't say anything because you don't want to risk being demonized as much as any other groups.
Well, I'm actually like wondering. So he's got to be up to like 2 strikes now, right? Because this is.
I don't know. Was it within 3 months of the last one?
Isn't a strike 6 months?
I thought it was 3 months.
90 days. It's 90 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it reduced at some point.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's a 90-day strike, yeah, then he's probably sitting on 1 at least, like this one. I just figured he was like, I figured he might be in like a second strike proximity. So it's like, I don't understand that. Like, okay, when you have a brand, and maybe this actually counters exactly my thought, because I was walking into it thinking that, yeah, maybe this is like a Machiavellian, like I want to be like relevant, every other month or something. This goes against it. Why would somebody with such a big brand consistently risk that brand every week that they stream, right? Like that specific podcast. And you're right. You're absolutely right, Matt. There's no fucking, it's just really being dumb. Like, it's a joke that the entire team on that show was like, walk it back.
Dude, his producers are like, they were like, dude, this is very insensitive and not funny. You should stop right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I know this for a fact, right? Like, fucking, when I was talking to some Nintendo channels, right? They had like a little bit of an edgy past. One of them uploaded in a meme compilation, like a 9/11 meme, right? Like just a fucking haha. Like back in the early like edgier 2016 days, there would be quite a few YouTubers that would upload like they would have like the ISIS theme or whatever the fuck it would be, and it would be like an obvious joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the way that YouTube systems work and the way that any AI works is if it detects like, hey, here's 9/11, here's like, the ISIS
but
theme
Ethan,
music,
Ethan would never collab with someone that said America deserved 9/11 though. He would never do that.
I was just about to say.
He would never do that. He would never have a whole podcast with a guy that said
Hassan has a Nintendo channel now, does he? Or something?
No, I was like, no. But like, there would basically be channels that got their entire monetization removed on one strike because of that content, right?
Yeah.
I think it was like innate, like it was the policy about like the violent, like glorifying violent organizations, right? So it could be like a terrorist group, it could be like a drug cartel or something. Which is why every time we talk about drug cartels, we don't joke about it. We straight up tell you it's like every drug cartel is bad. Okay, This is not a disclaimer. This is a true objective fact. Okay, all drug cartels are bad. And that's the whole reason for YouTube. You can't be caught glorifying anything because from my experience, I know that YouTube will straight demonetize you completely. Like you have to, I don't even think you could just reapply for partnership.
No.
It's like you're just gone if you do that.
But let's be real. Nepotism is a thing, and Ethan has met before with Susan Wojcicki or whatever her name was, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's certainly got connections there. I mean, if he's ever at risk of losing monetization or something, he would make some calls. I mean, he's not the person he was in terms of popularity as he was in years past, but I'd be very surprised if someone that high profile could just be ripped entirely, regardless of what they said. Certainly they would make a show of like, we'll ban him for a month, we'll ban him for 2 months, whatever, but I don't think he'll ever be gone, unless he did something really fucking bad.
Popularity, man. I think he's just changed that popularity to a side that's like more extremely less than
drama.
It used to be,
It's just drama now. It used to be like actual relevance, like genuine relevance. People care about what he says and stuff. Now if you just like, and I'm sure he's a good guy. I don't really, I've never met him or anything like that. But just everything I see just seems so fucking negative and like divisive all the time. It's just
that's the thing with like T. Like we'll always dip our hands into like a drama pie sometimes to just commentate on and everything. But it's like you got to have like actual substance here and there. Like this is why like I always like every time I shit on something or like I fucking talk about some crazy stuff. It's always I gotta have like actual stuff that I'm doing because it can't all be that.
It needs to be more lighthearted than this. Like when you get into drama of this YouTuber called that YouTuber an asshole, that's just so much. That's so much lighter, than
I mean, lighter than what Ethan said, of course. What isn't lighter in this situation?
Fair
enough.
But I make so few dedicated videos about topics that if I'm making a video about it, it has to be something that I really care about or I feel like I'm very educated on.
Man, don't you hate it when you have some really awkward fetishes that you look up and goddamn now everybody knows about it? You're probably thinking, why don't you just use incognito mode? Let me tell you something, you little gamers. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. Doesn't matter what you use or how many times you cleared your browsing history, your internet service provider can see every single foot fetish site you looked at. That is why even when I am home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter what your service provider is. ISPs in the US can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites you visit. It keeps all your information secure. It encrypts 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available, and most of the time, I don't even realize I have it on. It runs seamlessly in the background, easy to use, and you're safe and private. It's available on all your devices, phones, computers, even your TV. So there's no excuse for you to not use it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by Business Insider. Visit our exclusive link, expressvpn.com/SOP, and get an extra 3 months for free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/SOP. Link in the description. Thanks for the support, homies. Back to the podcast.
I'll ramble on stream about fucking anything, and with the caveat that I'll say, like, I'm not educated on this is just what I hear, whatever. But if it's a dedicated video, I'll make sure I know, to at least to some degree, what I'm talking about. It's why I hate when people accuse me of being a drama channel or something. Like, I've made dedicated videos about, like, 6 topics in the last, 2 years.
Well,
that isn't
anybody
GTA
that
5.
says that, yeah, I'm glad that YouTube has that one thing on the mobile where you can, see how long a channel's, watched you. Because I'll see, some guy, I remember when I talked about, a YouTuber that somebody really liked, I guess, right? And you would just, look into the comment sections, I've been following you for ever since you began, and I can't believe you talked about it. Where's the actual videos?
Since
and I'm
1
some
week
guy hit
ago.
me, it's yeah, some guy told, yeah, exactly. Some guy was like, where was that deep web video you uploaded? I'm like, you mean the one that I uploaded 4 days ago that you didn't watch? That one? Somebody that, okay. And then I look into their channel, I'm like, oh, you've been commenting on every video? The only comment on your entire post history is this video, so what the fuck? I'm like, YouTube has the ability to suss out that kind of shit. It's just weird how you get into the entire thing. And like you said, Caleb, a lot of those, it feels like a lot of these call outs now are done from a place of having that weird holier than thou mentality, right? Recently, Twitch, some streamers, XQC, just redid their gambling partnerships, right? And a lot of it is let's get it banned. Now, I have one of these, I have a really strict belief, and I've always had this belief, right? If you're gonna ban gambling, you might as well ban people doing shots on Twitch, right? You might as well ban people doing anything M-rated on Twitch, anything that's against it, right? I don't think you should ban gambling simply because people are gambling and they might get somebody addicted to it, because a lot of those addictions become the choice of the person that's watching. However, when it comes to the gambling streams on Twitch, what I am totally in favor of is banning anybody that's going to unregulated gambling casinos, right? Like the crypto stuff. Because the crypto stuff, they don't regulate you. For instance, I know the guy that runs Niagara Falls, right? I can go to him right now and get a fucking sponsorship at an actual casino for whatever set amount of money. It's not going to be anywhere close to the amount of deals some of these streamers get, right? And I've been doing this investigation for the last, I want to say 6 months with Coffee, right? Me and him have fucking been investigating on our own ends for just Stake Casino and any casino in general. And the actual partnerships that people like Train, XQC, or the big streamers get, whenever they say that they're down, they're not actually down. They never have been
house
down,
money.
okay? They're playing with the house money. They get a massive fucking stipend onto it. And I'm not putting anybody under the bus, but recently it's also come out in my investigations that a lot of these casinos where the actual hosters who are in Australia or New Zealand and places where they're usually asleep, a lot of the streamers, right? A lot of bigger streamers, I'm not throwing any name under the bus. It's not who you would think it is. They literally are exchanging $600,000, $1 million a night in crypto as flash loans to continue gambling on streams, right? Okay, so
that's
from
crazy.
What I understood, so, and again, I had these off-the-record calls about it, which is why I'm not naming any specific name, and again, it's not who you think it is, trust me. This rabbit hole goes way deeper than you think.
It's
so
Obama.
I was talking to a bunch of actual...
Is it me?
No, so okay, when you go to gamblers, right, you have your high-tier gambling streamer that's streaming $2,000 per slot hits, right? If you ever actually look into a streamer who's doing slots, look at their deposit. Look at how much money it costs for them to do a slot. It's going to astound you. Some of them are doing thousands of dollars per spin. So obviously, if you're a mid-tier gambling streamer, these guys will get a couple $100,000 a month to play with, right? They'll get to keep a certain percentage, but the house money that they'll be given with is a couple $100,000 to like constantly throw in. Now, obviously, when you get a few $100,000, you can't be doing $1,000 spins every day on your stream. You'd be out of money in like a few days anyways. And you got to make that whole stipend last a fucking month. So now all of a sudden, the larger streamers that have these $1 million sponsorships and they get the house money to gamble with on top of that, well, they can just keep doing $1,000 slots every day. Now, what's happened in the gambling sphere is nobody wants to watch the mid-tier streamer anymore. Because who the fuck wants to watch somebody spend $100 slots when you want to see somebody do $1,000 slots? So when they win, their highlights
they
like they just won $3 million on stream. Yeah, even though they've lost more than that down on the course of the month. So it's gotten to a point where, like, even for the larger streamers, right, they've spun so much in a month that they need to get money from, like, the casino. Now, when me and Coffee were doing the Roobet casino thing, right, the idea was we could, if you leaked your, like, fucking crypto, like, wallet on screen, we could then analyze it on a blockchain. Now they've done something even shadier. So at least with some of the larger casinos, they've implemented vaults. So the vault is just in back end, like, like it's a back end tally of what to credit to your account. No money's being exchanged. So it's very difficult to figure out who's getting what and what's happening anymore. But effectively, these guys reach into their vault and they dig out $100,000 and keep gambling. Now, when the vault is empty and the casino owner is sleeping, what they have to do is they have to go on Twitter, hit up another gambling streamer, and then be like, hey, can I have $600K real quick so I can continue gambling? I'll pay you back in the morning. Sometimes it's not even the streamer paying them back. Sometimes they have such a good connection to the actual casino that they can just fucking tell the casino to reimburse the actual gambler. It's fucking insane.
That's wild.
It's gotten to a point where literal Wall Street's amount of cash is being exchanged between fucking degenerate gamblers,
bro,
on stream, and the audience will never know because the audience.
But as an example of what you were saying, like when there's drinking streams, if a minor wants to drink, they're gonna go to the store to get alcohol, and they're gonna be carted away. Right?
Also, drinking's not a game either. Like, it's not.
But
like,
as far as gambling, crypto, it's not regulated. Minors can do it. Minors can make accounts on stake.
That's what I'm saying. Unregulated, yeah. Because unregulated gambling means if you took mommy and daddy's credit card and you bought like $20-$30 of crypto, the casino itself doesn't prevent you. They don't do an ID check on you. If I go to a real casino, they'll do the ID check on me, right? Before I even touch the slots.
What they're doing is not trying to get the kids to gamble now. I mean, even if it was regulated, it wouldn't change that. What they're trying to do is inspire people to gamble later.
Who's they?
Like, gambling becomes acceptable. It's just a thing that everyone does. Look at my big streamer XQC gambling all the time. Then you get older and you're like, well, I'm going to try gambling. I was watching it years past, right? Because kids don't have a lot of money. It's to get them while they're young, to inspire them to see gambling is just another acceptable thing to do.
I don't think they have like a sense of morality that they only want legal gambling. They want to make money.
I just mean,
and the streamer
the kids don't have a lot of money, but kids grow up and then they get a lot of money, and you can get them later. Like my country has the most gambling.
The seed inside them.
Yeah. My country has the most gambling of like any country apparently per capita or something, and gambling advertisements are everywhere. You on every kind of platform. It's ridiculous, and like I would love to see a world where there was no advertising for gambling. If it is a vice, and if you want to gamble, fine. But I believe Ludwig's solution was to stop, not to ban gambling, but to ban sponsored gambling. And I think that would be largely a solution. If you want to gamble, you should gamble with your own money, and there should be risk involved, rather than what you're describing here, where there's no risk involved and you can just go fucking forever.
It's true, but like, what makes that differentiation though? Like, are they going to ban sponsored drinking? Like,
yeah.
But I don't think drinking and gambling are like completely separate in terms of like the logic, because people, like, you can drink, everybody drinks, it's very common, it's like it's legal in every other country but the United States. It's like 16 years old or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. And in America, it's 21. Gambling, I don't know. I have an addictive personality, and personally, I know when people that I idolize do something, I want to do it too. Right. So, and like people who drink, people who I like that drink, I don't necessarily want to drink, but people who I like that do a specific activity, play a game, dude, even have certain guitars. I've bought guitars specifically because people that I like have them too, for no other reason than just that. So I feel like the responsibility that these streamers have for gambling is so far beyond what we like understand currently, and that it's like borderline evil in my opinion. But that's just what I think. I think it's
the alcohol
extremely
thing is-
scummy.
I think the comparison to alcohol is just silly. We're not sitting in a situation where like the biggest streamers on the platform are drinking 24/7, and you couldn't do that anyway. You'd collapse, you'd die, or whatever from alcohol poisoning or something.
You'd be like, only use me blade.
Yes and no.
What's your name is Shoe Knight,
Let's say,
guys.
But you can
let's say
do-
the biggest
you can
streamers
do
on the
slots all day.
platform are they're making believe they're drinking. Right? They have a fake bottle of alcohol and they're drinking the whole stream, okay? It's like playing with house money. People are going to watch and say, this guy's drinking, he's having a good time, and he keeps drinking and his liver didn't explode yet. And it's the same idea as gambling with house money. It's like he's not losing anything.
But drinking's also not a game, though.
One thing
it is
that
an
I always
addiction.
find too weird about it too is
not a
with
game.
the audience's defense of like the gambling streaming, right? Like everyone always is like, hey, these guys keep showing things like their losses, therefore it's okay. Hey, they're trying to keep things transparent. In what world is watching your best high level streamer who's making millions of dollars a month from the company ever comparable to the actual gambling addict, right? Because last time I checked, most people that go into a casino don't have millions of dollars of revenue that they're earning every fucking month to gamble away, right? The reason why gambling is so dangerous is, yes, it invokes a very addictive personality in amongst a lot of people. And the thing about, okay, so if I have to compare like drinking, right? Like obviously drinking will kill your liver, right? Like it'll fucking fuck up your body. You can't do it every single day out. I'd also argue that you can't really do gambling every single day unless your addiction becomes so severe that you're out there taking loans to gamble, right? And it starts off with, you getting like cash advances, then you start taking loans from, potential criminal enterprises that help subsidize your gambling. And then you end up getting to a situation where, like, I would say compared to alcohol, which you could turn your life around, it's very rare that anybody that's so deep in the world of gambling has the ability to turn their life around because they're so financially in debt. They're still so addicted to a vice that, even if you shy yourself away, right, from like, even if you go to like, your state and you tell them, hey, just ban me from every gambling parlor, right? So all the regulated places are forced to kick you out or evict you every time you're on like their premises. Well, then there's still so many other avenues for you to illegally then continue your vice, and it's just a terrible addiction to get into. And I think when you look at the streamer, it's an objective, like, lack of complete ethics, right? Like, obviously, I think most of us and most streamers right now are pretty well off financially. Like, if you came up to me and dangled the gambling carrot onto me, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's like $1 million a month. And that's a lot of fucking money, don't get me wrong, right? But you'd have to turn it down because there's at least some ethical point in you that says...
I would never do it.
It's like, that's $12 million a year for me. How much am I actually harming the people that have put me to where I am to make that decision, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't even consider it, like, literally, dude.
I disagree. Everyone has a price. You have a price too, Caleb. Like you're telling me if they came up to you and said, "I'll give you $1 billion to gamble for half an hour," like you wouldn't gamble.
But
for
I mean, I would absolutely, but I would say specifically, like I do a lot of ads too, right? And always I'll say like in a next video or something like that, the truth about like what I think. Like if they were to tell me to gamble and they were to say gamble and tell everyone you do it and you love it and that there's no bad, negative consequences to it, I would not do that. If I could gamble, they give me $1 billion and I could say, I do not recommend you gamble, but if you want to watch me gamble and like, kind of just play this like an actual video game, then feel free, and I would do it in that aspect. But I would there's no way I couldn't do that. Or the next video I would make, I'd be like, I just literally, I got the bag, guys. Ignore this video. Do not ever gamble, ever. It's terrible, and you're gonna get addicted to it.
You pull an Aiden Ross on the fucking crypto.
Dude,
exactly,
I
dude.
you, bro.
And then I would give away like $500 million or something like that.
Yeah.
The reason why because exactly, you could make up for the harm because you can give away that money, exactly. But the reason why this becomes so difficult is because even when a person sees you losing, or even when you say, you shouldn't gamble, people will still gamble because you put that idea in their head now. It is so hard when, like, if you want to avoid a vice, your best bet is to put distance between you and that thing. But because we have the online sphere now, it's very hard to avoid gambling. You are like 4 clicks away from getting into a new gambling site. Like when I wanted to stop.
Whoa! Sometimes 3 clicks away because they don't even enable the mature audience filter.
when I wanted to stop playing PokerStars, and I wasn't addicted or something, but I wanted to make sure I never went back, I put a freeze on my account. But even then, I knew I could probably make another account. I could go onto a different website. If you're addicted enough, there's very little that a person can say to stop you. You know,
dude, it's also interesting.
And that's why
this discussion in general. This is like a legality versus morality kind of discussion. Like it's legal what they're doing, I guess, sort of, sort of in quotes, Muda. But I mean, whatever.
Sort of.
And it's kind of the same with a lot lot of these things.
It's legal somewhere.
I guess.
It's wherever the gambling is located is where it's legal.
In Curacao. But like,
not here.
And okay,
Yeah.
I know that we're gonna inevitably talk about the reaction stuff. Like that's the big fish of this episode, I guess. But it's the same idea. What they're doing is legal. Just because Asmongold reacted to every single Elden Ring video on all of YouTube, and they're all just copied on his channel now, like it's legal-ish. Yeah. Like they could claim him, they could strike him, but it's legal-ish until it's tested in court. For now.
But like, at the end of the day, even when things are legal, what you want is like social sanctions. Like if you watch Ludwig's video talking about the gambling thing, he said, I don't know if I would take a gambling sponsorship, but it's not because I think it's bad, but because I worry what people will think of me. My audience will be angry at me, potentially. And that kind of stuff is really powerful. Like back in the day with reaction content, people would be like, well, you're doing reaction content, you fucking scum. And they'd be like, oh shit, well I better not do reaction content. Even though it's legal, people worried about
so interesting you bring
career.
that up though. Like, because YouTube is very self-policing. Like, in general, like, if someone does something stupid, everyone calls them out, and they get a lot of hate, and that's it, and they learn from their mistakes. Twitch is one unit. There is no self-policing system on Twitch, because when something works, everyone jumps on the train. Like reaction content.
I mean, I think even on YouTube it's degraded over time. Like once upon a time, you remember like doing a sponsorship at all was a taboo thing. Yeah,
true.
And you had to just you guys, it's just the one sponsorship. Don't worry. But over time, things just become more and more accepted.
Yeah.
Like back in 2016, everyone was against React content, and slowly but surely, more and more people did it. And we all have our different lines as to what is fair for reaction content. Like I say, if you're involved in the thing, you can react as much as you want. But other people are like, oh, if anything's free game, and it's just so much more ambiguous now. No one's there's no collective consciousness that's all in relative agreement of one thing. We're all kind of fractured.
Even if you're like involved in a video, right? So let's like if we're going in by the legality argument, let's say you're involved in a video, unless explicitly like legally defined beforehand, you do have some hand in the copyright of a work, right? Like if you were involved in something to an extent. Of course, I think where it separates is like, if let's say me and you made a video together, right? Like we both worked 50% on a video together and it was uploaded to your channel, right? I don't think any of us would have a dispute if like I could use that content and like take portions of it on my channel.
That's a goodwill thing.
Versus like...
That's like...
Yeah, versus like... Yeah. Even a movie, right? Like for instance, let's say a movie is filmed, right? And the actor comes in and it's like, don't I own a portion of this? Well, no, you probably signed a contract where he paid you tons of money to be in this product, and you therefore, gave us the rights to this entire production. Yeah. Like, it's kind of like fucking, you watch a Marvel movie. Now, of course, Captain America, right? Like, we all know Chris Evans was the actor on that one. Chris is not going to go up to Disney or Marvel and be like, don't I own a percentage of this movie? No, we paid you millions of dollars for you to be Captain
Chris
America.
Evans reacts to Avengers.
Be Captain America again and again and again.
The YouTube upload.
This is very much our IP. So that's kind of how I consider, like, copyright content. Obviously, that's a much larger scale than YouTube side. I think where it separates is when we look at old school like reaction content, like the good stuff, right? Like stuff from H3's earlier catalog, right? Who pretty much I think set the real definition of what is I would consider like a higher quality reaction, where like you watch his video, he uses a few seconds of clips, and then it's always interjected with his own context, his own commentary,
jokes,
and a lot
bits.
of it can be his own sticks, like his own skits editing. And everything.
I would think that doesn't even qualify as the reaction content of today. Like that term, it's commentary at this point. The old H3 videos.
That's why I try to make that distinction when I first talked about them. Like, there's clearly a distinction between a person taking someone else's work, taking portions of it, editing it, and using particular points of it to create something new, as opposed to what's happening now, where people are just watching as much as possible every day and chucking it on YouTube. It was one thing when it was just on Twitch, and Twitch was a lot smaller of a website. But now there's Twitch and YouTube are so much integrated. It's just a different playing field now.
Like, let's say that you made a video tomorrow. It's like, why Grand Theft Auto Online is fucking amazing, right? You never do that, but let's say you made that video, and I downloaded your whole video. And let's say your video is 20 minutes long. I made a 45-minute long video. The length itself doesn't constitute that video becomes fair use. What would make it fair use is if I, like, took out the 20 seconds of what Matt said, and then it was like an actual thorough analysis from my own perspective on why I disagree or agree with Matt, right? So it's like I'm taking his video and then I'm adding onto it with my own context and commentary and my own experiences. So at that point, I'm not becoming a market substitute for the Dark Viper video. You can go on his channel and watch his original video. My video then changes it because I'm adding a bunch of my experiences, my own research, my own analytics, versus something else. It's not the editing or the length of the video that gets me. It's the fact that whenever you watch a reaction video on YouTube, for the most part, it's the entire fucking video, right? Like it becomes, I have no reason to watch it. Nothing like made me happier than reading my own comment section and the comment sections of some other people that reacted to that video that I made a few days ago, where it was like, yeah, I don't really go to the original person's channel and watch. And I know that's anecdotal for the most part, but even when you look at smaller channels being reacted to, JXE was a great example. His video got reacted to by one of the top streamers on Twitch. How much of a view bump did he get?
100, 180, whatever.
I forgot the exact.
It's like 180.
But yeah, it's
minuscule.
That's
less than a penny.
Yeah,
it's literally less than
nothing.
a penny.
Yeah. And it's worse than that because viewers will admit, they're like, oh, I'll see a creator bring out a video, and I'm like, oh, if I watch it now, I won't be able to watch it with Asmongold later.
True.
So like, I'm not going to watch it on YouTube. I'm going to wait till for Asmongold to watch it. When you become one of these people who routinely reacts to certain content, your viewers then learn to avoid that content on YouTube and wait for it to happen on Twitch or for Asmongold's reaction to go onto YouTube, and that's just scummy. Like if you're a person who, on rare occasions, maybe once in a while, you watch a video that's of particular importance to you, that doesn't make you a reactor in my book. I'm talking about people who, like, as a routine part of their business, they look for shit to react to build their brand, to build their YouTube, to build exposure for themselves, as Asmongold says, to increase his reaction so he gets into everyone's, increase his recommendation so he gets in everyone's recommendation feed. I think that's
his
scummy
goal.
as hell. Yeah,
that's his goal.
I mean, imagine meeting that.
I'll watch videos on a stream too, right? Like I'll do that, but my whole rule is like I never want that ever VOD to be uploaded to YouTube, even if it's by somebody else. Like it's like no, don't do that. Like I'll watch it. Like if I watch like somebody's like GTA video, right? Like fucking we're talking about this like weird update or whatever online. I'm not going to be like, hey, upload that video. I'm literally watching it on stream because it's just pertaining to me. It showed up, like, I'm going to watch it, right? I'm not going to be like, hey, here's, like, Daily Dose of Internet's new video. Let's fucking throw that up there, and I'll walk off the stream and order DoorDash. Like, no. Like, that's not me.
It's funny because a lot of them just don't care or pretend not to care because they realize, it's like back in the day with Asmongold, what he would say is, oh, look, this isn't my responsibility that people are uploading all these reactions to YouTube, and there were, like, 3 channels dedicated to throwing up all his content as reactions. He's like, that's not my responsibility. I'm not doing anything. I'm like, it is kind of your responsibility. You're the one making that content. You should say to them, don't do this if you actually give a shit. But clearly he knew he was benefiting from all this content going on YouTube, so he let it go. And then he then he actually got a channel himself and then just started uploading the reaction content. But he would say, oh, it's not my responsibility, guys. I'm not running the channel. I've just hired some people to do it. And sure, they put up reactions, but that's not me. I'm not doing it myself. You can't criticize me for this. And then along the line now, he's like, I love reactions, bro. I'm gonna react to all this shit to get into people's recommendations. Like he progressively worked to make this stuff more acceptable until the point where his audience were accepting of him uploading this stuff, and then he admits, yeah, I love reaction content, man. It's helped me out so much.
He also likes reading hate threads about himself. Apparently,
really?
Yeah, he tweets that like on a daily basis. I've seen it. He's like, I'll be live in a minute reading some hate threads. He just like I've seen it 10 or 15 times on his Twitter. He tweets about enjoying to read, like, I don't know if it's just like some kind of, haha, I love being hated for the reaction stuff. I'm not sure, but I thought it was fucking weird because I don't like reading hate threads about myself.
Anybody
It seems weird.
Not fun.
I just think at some level you become so rich that you just become so detached from anything where it's like, I'm just making so much money, fuck what anyone thinks. And I think that's the point that Asmongold's gone into now.
So here's the thing.
Well, like, it's when you do like seedingly unethical behavior, you have to like justify it to yourself in your own head so you can sleep at night, in my opinion. That's what it comes down to.
It's one of those things where like our capacity to justify things to ourselves is pretty expansive. Like if you really want to do something and the payoff is enough, you can often very readily justify it to yourself. And I just want to know, to what extent is Asmongold truly believing that what he's doing is good versus how much is he just, lying?
Look, I don't think he thinks he's doing a good thing. I don't think he thinks he's doing a bad thing, but I don't think he thinks he's doing a good thing. I think he's just very content that he's making a lot of money and he's doing it so far legally.
Yeah.
So
So he's just not thinking about it
he's just
in
not
your mind.
thinking
He's just
about
like, well,
it.
this is the thing that I'm
pulling an
doing.
Ethan
Maybe it's
Klein
helping, maybe it's
over
not.
here. He's just going.
I mean, from what I've seen of him speaking in terms of like enjoying the hate threads, and his literal goal is to just like be
Sniper Wolf
I think
2.
he's pulling a Jake Paul / H3H3 in my opinion. He just like is kind of leaning into the hate because there's more support that he sees it at the very least. You know what I mean? Like he's still not the bad guy, but there's definitely, it's like a slippery slope of people just slowly start to fucking be like, hey man, like this is okay for a little while, but like at the same time, you have a functioning brain.
Always, like what's wild to me is like, so XQC, I made that video a few days ago, right, where I was like, Twitch reactions are killing YouTube, and yeah, it's a bit of a hyperbole. I mean, that's what you got to do on YouTube
to survive.
like, make your video at least be watched.
Yes.
I mean, that's something that anybody does. I mean, that's just how the fucking internet game is. But it's not like a wrong, assumption, because the idea that I always go with is like, listen, if you're gonna have one person doing, YouTube work, right? Like somebody uploads and makes that content, right? For instance, Emblem like makes an amazing video, and all of a sudden you have 10 people on YouTube who like, let's grab that video, react to it, upload it. Well, all of a sudden you have less fucking actual content, and you just have more rips of that content. The whole system and platform starts to become diluted. That's what kills YouTube, because nobody wants to come onto YouTube, waste the hours of their day watching fucking 10 of the same videos when they could have 10 of different videos, right? Like that would be what creates that long-term engagement for the user, right? When they naturally,
I really think it became
ruins
more
the incentive
accepted.
structure.
Like it really became more accepted because most of YouTube content ended up becoming reactionary to some degree. Like gaming content is based on the reaction of the gamer, and then gaming content can easily become subreddit reactions because you're reacting to the subreddit. You're not watching for the subreddit. You're watching for the reactor. Like for PewDiePie's reaction of for example, everyone's happy to see PewDiePie memeing around. But all of a sudden, it's kind of now accepted to react for the sake of the reactor. And now we're just ripping content. Like it was a slow development.
I think a lot of it is that a lot of the people worked really, really hard for many, many years to become like on the top of the YouTube game. And then they're like, man, I can't do this fucking forever. But I can do reaction content and get the same amount of views as I was getting with my hard stuff that I had to make. Well, fuck this. I'm just gonna rest on my laurels or whatever. I've got a huge audience. I'm just gonna sit back and let the content come to me and just chuckle a bit and get the same amount of views. They're like, I've paid my dues, I've worked hard, and now I just want to sit on my throne and react to shit. Because it destroys the incentive structure. The people who benefit the most are not the people working really hard for a month to make that really amazing video. It's the people who are sitting on their asses, chuckling at that video, and then uploading it to their YouTube channel. If you can get a video that takes a month to make in half an hour, that incentive for a lot of people is hard to ignore.
Look,
and people,
I know from
they don't want to think about it, or they justify it to themselves.
Personal analytics, like when I see like average view duration, like when I do like one of those game shows with like 8 YouTubers or whatever, I'll have, let's say, 40% watch retention. If I do any reaction video, it's over 60% watch retention. Like I'm incentivized to just sit and look at my subreddit every day.
And that's why for a long time it was like basically the worry of being branded as a reactor or someone who's exploitive that prevented that stuff from happening. Or rather, it kind of peaked in 2016, and all the big content creators were like, fuck you, what are you guys reacting to our content for? And then it died down. But then over time, the people who did the most reactions or were willing to exploit people in this way, they became the new top tier YouTubers. And so no one wants to call out reactors and have people go, oh, but you're reacting to this subreddit, or you're doing this and you're doing that. And like I've had people go through my entire back catalog and go, well, isn't this a reaction, Matt? Isn't this where you're like responding to Dream? Isn't that just a reaction? Or aren't you just reacting to XQC with whatever? Like my response videos are being called reactions because people just want to call me a hypocrite. No one wants that kind of fine-tooth scrutiny of your life. Everyone just wants to shut the fuck up and just enjoy the reactions.
I like how Muda framed it. Like the market substitute angle, I think, is a really, really important frame of reference. Like PewDiePie reacting to r/hmm isn't gonna kill r/hmm, but someone reacting to a full video why Elden Ring is stupid and poo-poo pee-pee, and you watch that, you're not going to go back to that
You're not going to watch that OG video.
And more than that, like stuff that's thrown on Reddit like takes like 5 minutes to make or something, and it isn't a person's livelihood. They're not trying to there's no monetary sort of benefit from someone typing a story on Reddit that you're reacting to, whatever. It's the difference between something that's a hard developed creative work versus something random on fucking Reddit put on there for no purpose other than to entertain.
Also, Reddit is
I-
despite there being a lot of crossover between all these different platforms, like at the end of the day, YouTube content isn't. I don't think it's impacting Reddit users. And and Twitch content, I don't think is necessarily impacting YouTube users. It's once the substitute is on the same platform that it really is pulling eyeballs away.
As I say, it's more significant, but I don't think reaction content on Twitch is helping it either. I just think with Twitch,
it's not helping.
It's so bad
but it's because it's paving the way.
Even reaction content isn't the reason why Twitch is a piece of shit and all the top creators are able to stay on top forever. It's just there's no the recommendation algorithm is just always throwing out the top creators.
Well,
my recommendations are always Asmongold, XQC, 24/7. I haven't touched their streams in like a bajillion years, but they will always get recommended to me, as it will everyone else. If you remove reaction content from Twitch, the top creators will still be there, and the little guys will still be getting fucked. Because maybe at the end of the day, you don't even need more than 10,000 successful live streams. It's just generally you want new blood getting into the system.
So to prove Viper's point even more, I can't show this, I can't screen share it in the thing right over here, but I just started up like a little virtualized container, and I had like a little like super privacy browser that didn't store any data for me. Nothing was stored, right? Like this is a fresh virgin browser, full incognito, everything. Yeah, immediately when you go onto Twitch, the discoverability algorithm, it's like literally highest sub creator, XQC first, and then you've got Amaranth, and you've got like that's it. That's all we're getting. I think the biggest problem with this algorithm on Twitch is mostly the fact that I believe you said it in your videos, like you have to be live in order to be recommended, right? So obviously it's an incentive to be live 24 hours a fucking day. Any hour you spend offline, bad for you. But the other big thing is like it literally will push the highest viewer to the highest top. It's not looking through like it may not look at other possible metrics on a stream, right? Like let's say how much a chat is engaged, for instance, right? Or like, you know what I mean? Like it's literally just using the view metric.
We call this algorithm bad, but that's because we have different ideas as to what the platform should be doing. We want new blood to have a chance to be successful.
Yeah.
But in Twitch's mind, if it's recommending a guy with 5 viewers, they have no idea if that stream is good, and that's just a wasted opportunity to get someone to be watching good content that they could find engaging. At the end of the day, a person with 50,000 viewers is likely going to be more entertaining for a new viewer than a 5-viewer stream. And every time that they try to promote these small streams, odds are they're promoting someone who's shit, and they're just going to have people leave the platform because they're not going to find good enough content fast enough.
How harsh that is.
I mean,
he's right.
I mean, we were all shit when we first started.
Absolutely.
I'm not a fan of Asmongold, but Asmongold's stream is more entertaining than 99% of streams because everyone who starts on the platform is competing with people who've been doing it for 10 years. Like, if you look at my first streams, I fucking sucked. Everyone did. And if you're starting out, the standards are so high.
There's a certain way that you present yourself that you learn after a while on YouTube and Twitch to separate
with everything in life, you grow into the role. You become better over time. And the new creators just don't have time to do that because they're competing with these monoliths that people didn't compete with when they first started out. Like, if you look at Lyric's first stream, like, he's getting 20,000 viewers right now. His first stream was fucking shit. He sucks as a creator. Like, but the standards were... No, because everyone did. The standards were just so much lower. And the standards are so much higher now, and it's just not in Twitch's best interest to waste their valuable impressions on people who are likely going to be shit. We want them
That's
to.
why I
but
really
from a
hope
business
YouTube
perspective,
gaming actually steps up to the plate and makes an actual incentive to stream on YouTube, not Twitch. It's just so hard to find streams on YouTube.
Gifted memberships. Gifted memberships.
Yeah, right?
Oh, they're there now.
They need to fucking
they're
separate.
here.
Yeah, they need to separate the live streaming from, because even on YouTube, it's like if I like a live stream, it's literally like unless you have a dedicated channel that like has an audience, you're not going to survive in a live stream game on YouTube.
It would be so nice if like next to the search bar at the top of the YouTube homepage, like right next to the search bar, there's a little live button, and you click it, and your whole homepage becomes streams instead, like something like that.
I think you can do that, but it's very convoluted how to get to that point. I went looking for streams at one point, and I had a hard time. But I'm going to disagree and say that I think what YouTube is doing is better, because one of Twitch's problems was it's so beholden to YouTube for advertising live streams, in the sense that if you join a live stream, it could be like the worst moment of that live stream. It could be utter shit. Like the moment to moment of a live stream is pretty bad. But YouTube, the edited content can make a live stream seem so amazing, and that's perfect advertisement. In the same way that a trailer is an advertisement for a movie, an edited video is an advertisement for a live stream. A live stream isn't really good advertisement for a live stream, as I say, because the quality is so varied. But the videos are. So like what YouTube is doing seemingly is that live streaming will always be supplemental. It would be a secondary thing. And it's just that your viewers who come to your channel and subscribe and stuff because of your videos, will then watch your live streams. They don't seem to have much of an algorithm for promoting live streams to new people, merely promoting your live stream to your already present viewers. And I think that's probably a better mechanism than what Twitch has, because you just end up having, because you can't assess how good a stream is objectively, because it's as I say, the quality is just so hard to assess. You just end up advertising the biggest streams. I think it's just a much better system to advertise through offline content, edited content, than to advertise the live streams themselves.
Yeah,
Agreed.
It allows like somebody to curate the best part of their works for anybody new to come watching, right? Because nobody, like, you're right. Like if you walk into somebody's stream, like when they're fucking, not having a good moment, you caught them with their pants down, right? But if you have an idea to actually check their content out at its peak, then they may consider you to actually sit through, and have their stream up on the side of your system, while you're doing something else.
And also, I think that the average person that heard of Twitch heard of it through YouTube.
Yeah, it certainly was the best way to advertise.
Who finds Twitch? When you're a kid, you only know Twitch because you found a YouTube video on mommy's iPad, right? Like,
or one of your YouTube like
Twitch.
gaming content creators decided to upload to or stream to Twitch, right? Especially, I know for me, like the popularity of Twitch really rose. Like I used to stream on it, but during the adpocalypse, right, like the initial wave of like demonetizations, a lot of my like gaming channels that I followed way back in the day, they were like, oh, they started Twitch channels and
to
it
diversify.
was rocky at first, but they became Twitch streamers, and now that's where they're sitting at. That's the bread and butter. And that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people know about Twitch, right? Like you can't have like a niche gaming centric like streaming site be this popular if it wasn't for like a bunch of extraneous variables like feeding into
There was no competition.
Right?
If YouTube had competent live streaming at the same time Twitch did, they would just be, it would never have taken off. Everyone would just be on YouTube. And
also there are all sorts of like really, it's scary to stream on YouTube because everyone like thinks of the algorithm as like this, woo, the algorithm, it's not going to promote my video anymore because I'm streaming. Like no one knows how YouTube works, and everyone's terrified to try it.
You have no idea how many times YouTube, like the fucking back end people will just be like, no, don't fall for that fucking... It pisses them off so much.
Because why would they do that? That's not in their best interest. If they saw the algorithm doing that, they'd be like, fucking stop it, algorithm. Fuck you. From all I've seen, the algorithm tries to treat each video as a entity in of itself. If you upload a shit video, it doesn't make your next video that's really amazing any less amazing. It just assess like...
So I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think that when you get a video that pops off, your next week of uploads are going to pop off. And when you get in a video that tanks, your next week of videos are going to struggle.
I think from somebody that uploads almost daily, I think that I can sign to see that. When like one video succeeds, you see like that fucking
the impressions effect, there's a true, and there's certain videos you can upload that, like, let's say the CTR is a little bit worse, or the AVD is like just like it's a little bit under, or there's like a little bit of like people leaving. You're just not going to get as many impressions for like a foreseeable amount of time until you get a video that's like kind of undoes that damage. At least that's what happens to my channel. We have like insane charts of all the AVD and everything just like mapped out, and it's like it's pretty predictable now, to be honest. But it's unfortunate that sometimes, like, if you don't do clickbait and if you don't do stuff that's like unique and keeps people engaged, YouTube's just not going to show your videos to people. I'll have people like you mentioned me with the dark web stuff. Like, where's your dark web videos at? You just didn't see the one from 4 days ago because YouTube just didn't show it to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, cause what do you expect everyone to fucking look on your channel? People always ask me where certain series are. It's like they just don't get shown. They just don't.
Most of the viewership on my videos comes from comes from the up next, comes from the recommendations that you find on the right side of the video. They don't come from
the reason why I don't agree with that is a few things. One, like the late night channels. You go to their channels, there'll be a video that makes 1 million views, 20,000, 10,000, 20,000, million views. 10,000, 15,000.
Yeah. Wait, are you talking about like late night like talk show channels, like the?
And you could say maybe they've got some deal or something, but like it works with me as well. I upload my rambles; they get 50,000 views every single time. Can do that for an entire week. Then I upload an episode of Pacifist, 2 million. you know. But the thing is,
okay, dude, I saw your rambles. Your thumbnails are really.
Oh yeah, I know, because they're like the most.
Like, they're all the same.
Oh yeah, because they're filler
like,
content.
What?
They're absolutely the filler content of my channel. They're not meant to do anything more than to act like as a historical thing of my opinions of that time. But like I've been getting 50,000 views on my rambles forever, like many years. But at the same time, all my other content, like 700,000, a million, a ramble for 50,000, 700,000 over and over, and there's no. I've uploaded this content forever in the exact same way, and I've been more successful or less successful. My problem, so I know that you can be successful uploading good content and algorithmically poor content. The thing that I can't tell is, would I be more successful had I never uploaded the ramble content? I can't tell you that. I only know that you can have successful video, unsuccessful video, and successful video because I've done it like 100 times. But when I say these things to people, just my opinion is not enough to dissuade people to do something different. Because if you've got you don't want to take a risk based on some random guy's opinion. If you have a different experience, I don't fault you at all for doing something different. We're all trying our best just based on what we know, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And the annoying thing about YouTube also is that I think all of us have experienced it changes from time to time. Like something that'll do well one month will not do well another month. I think when YouTube started Shorts, like it really screwed with like a lot of videos. Just general long form content just stopped. I didn't see anything go viral. Like the viral videos are Shorts. Like, and they keep tweaking it, I think.
I mean, either that or the algorithm itself is just continuously altering because it doesn't know what content people are watching. You can see the outcomes, right. And it must keep testing new things to see what works best. But certainly before Shorts came out, there had to have been a tweak in the algorithm. Because have you seen my Clips channel by some chance?
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on YouTube, I think, and then I saw a channel and it had like so many views just uploading Twitch clips, and I'm like, wow, that's a ridiculous amount of views. What the fuck? I looked at the back end on Social Blade and it got like 4 million% increase in subscribers, 4 million% increase in views. I'm like, oh shit, well, I'm gonna do this myself and upload my own clips. And just like, what was I up? Like hundreds of millions of views in a month, because YouTube clearly wanted to get into the short form content game and to compete with TikTok.
Yeah.
And whatever they told the algorithm, it was just pushing those clips for a long time. It's not that way now, at least for my content. But people still do have some success with clip channels, but not in the way that I do,
it's
which
so
is just
weird,
throw everything
like,
up.
That's like 1 month YouTube is like, hey, upload a video that's less than a minute long, and then the other month it's like, upload a fucking hour-long video.
That's what's so annoying.
Yeah, I mean the algorithm is just simply the audience, anyways. But like one thing that has trended is like the larger that I've noticed is the larger that shorts get, and the more time people spend on YouTube Shorts and TikTok, the less views traditional gaming channels get. Like there's like 5 gaming channels. I'm not sure if I should even name them, but their views have gone down substantially from the point of Shorts being released. And it's like the same audience is attracted to like the same thing. So those channels are like they're losing viewership and impressions to Shorts, and and they're not doing Shorts. You know what I mean? Like they're not really learning, they're not adapting. So, and I have so many friends that make gaming channels, and they all think that like gaming is dying basically, or it's not growing.
Are they sure they're not just losing views to TikTok? Because TikTok is taking a chunk out of YouTube.
Yeah,
even personally, I would spend more time on YouTube, but now I'm spending more time on TikTok. Not a heap amount of time, but any amount of time that I spent on TikTok, I once spent on YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like the people who watch the gaming stuff, just like the normal, kind of filling up time. You're not learning anything. It's just you're fucking watching a game. Those people, that attention is being split between gaming now and just traditional, just short form content in general, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, etc.
I want to see the analytics that might come out in the next couple of years to see how much YouTube is going down, because certainly every single year YouTube has made more money, but TikTok is now probably at its peak, and I want to see what. If YouTube is going to start to shrink in the next couple of years, who knows?
Well, it's insane. Like TikTok is one of those like companies where like fucking it comes out of nowhere, and it's just like YouTube. It has like a financial black hole that they can just chuck money into. And now what effectively you've got with like these companies is it's like YouTube has Google, right? Like that's one, like that's its financial backing. TikTok's got fucking Tencent, the government of China, and Microsoft fucking backing it. You've got like 3 of the biggest juggernauts in financial history fucking like pushing this up to its absolute peak.
And YouTube and Google, they like a large percentage of all the views on YouTube are of just people watching TikToks that are re-uploaded on fucking YouTube. Like, it's crazy how it's just a true phenomenon.
It's insane. Most of the ads I see on anybody's YouTube channel is TikTok. Like,
it's wild.
TikTok's advertising.
I disagree that this came out of nowhere, because we had Vine before it. There was clearly some position in the market for someone to really figure out short form content, and someone was going to do it eventually. It just happened to be TikTok, because weren't there other things like Vice and well, I mean, eventually other stuff came along.
We had Vine, we had Musical.ly, we had a lot.
TikTok bought Musical.ly.
Yeah, exactly. It was going to happen, but who knew? Who would have guessed it would have happened to be this extent? How big TikTok is?
I called it.
Well, do you guys think that one day TikTok will have like actual long form content into it too?
It does. It's up to 10 minutes now.
Yeah,
they already.
It's up to 10 minutes. You can watch entire episodes of Rick and Morty.
How is the success rate on those 10-minute videos? Like, I assume some of you guys have your TikToks, and maybe your analytics might show.
Because they don't pay Australians like anything. We're not in the creator program. I've got a guy, one of my mods, who just uploads my clips there, and that's about it. I don't really look at the analytics. It just doesn't matter to me. But so I can't tell you if the 3-minute and then 10-minute stuff actually does well.
Yeah, I'm not
just
sure.
Basic entertainment content kind of tanked. I don't think it's just gaming, Caleb. Like, entertainment in general, like if you're looking for something like informative, like Muda's videos, like I don't think you took a hit because of TikTok or YouTube Shorts. Because someone that wants to watch like an in-depth analysis type thing, they'll still come back to you. But if you just want like popcorn entertainment, it's easier to turn on TikTok
you're
than to
competing
look for your
against
favorite
TikTok.
creators.
I think you'd be
like I know my main channel content like got a big hit from like YouTube Shorts and TikTok.
I think you'd be surprised by the informational content on TikTok. There is a lot of channels that are just, the experts in psychiatry or medicine or whatever, who just 3 minutes, here's a story and here's my expert opinion on that. I would say, like, especially with expansive topics, you need that kind of long stuff for YouTube. But that stuff does do well.
To add on to Matt's point on that one, even on YouTube, like, this is a YouTube Shorts fucking thing. But I was addicted to this one channel.
Let's go!
Hell yeah, dude!
At least you're getting money, man. I can't even get paid.
Let's go, dude!
How much is that?
Sign me up for that fucking gambling website. I'm ready to fucking gamble.
Have you?
Let's see. How many is that? How many views is that?
What the fuck?
I have millions and millions. I have 700,000 followers on TikTok, and let's see. I don't even know how to see like your analytics. How do you even see that?
Have you seen John Green's video about? I think it's John Green. Is it Hank Green? But one of the Greens brothers about the payment system of TikTok and how the more views that are generated, the less people get paid per view. Awful.
Yeah, it's terrible.
How many likes are on your channel, Caleb?
I'm trying to let me.
Guess.
I don't even know how the fuck to use
That's on your homepage.
Does it? 5.1 million.
Okay, so 5.1 million likes is probably 25 million views.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, so you've
you made $170 on 25 million.
Yeah!
170.
Oh my
yeah,
God, dude! On YouTube, that's an easy like $250,000.
That's where like fucking switch it. I don't know. With me, like short form content, I was watching like science related stuff on YouTube. Like, I forget the exact name of the channel, but it was like, you can find it if you go on YouTube. Like, you could literally see some people like dissolving shit in acid. That was the video. Like, this guy was mixing sulfuric acid and I think it was like
Nile Red.
Hydrogen. Yeah.
Yeah, he's big on TikTok. Yeah,
he's pretty cool.
So it was like he like
Today,
put an entire
we're making bromine.
Yeah, like he puts like a chicken bone into this like fucking piranha solution, and the whole thing just turns like jet fucking black.
Yeah,
and I'm like, wait a fuck.
I'm turning a plastic glove into grape soda.
Well, like, dude, I was watching his like chemical reaction, and that motherfucker gets close into the reaction. I'm like, whoa.
He's awesome. Yeah,
I'm like, that solution you just made, I'd have a warehouse and I'd be far fucking away.
He's constantly putting himself in danger. It's awesome.
I know, like, I saw that and I was just, man, and that's what was getting me into it. So yeah, you can get informative content. I did not know pennies dissolve that fucking quick in like, you know, acid solutions, and it looked that cool. So yeah, in that regards, I would say TikTok, YouTube, fucking, it would be solid for that kind of stuff. And that's honestly, like, the more I see the content that I consume, it's less of the long form shit. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I watch a long form video from a creator that I really like every once in a while, but yeah, more of my viewing habits are like just short clips, like short videos that just constantly autoplay as I'm working on something.
Yeah,
like,
same.
that's pretty much where I go into.
As you're working on stuff, like what I always expected was the more that you didn't want to pay attention to something, the more you valued longer form content that you can just listen to, because that's why Twitch, like most people who watch Twitch, aren't super engaged with it. It's just on the side that they're looking at every once in a while.
I'm a really bad example, because any form of media I watch is always done on like a second monitor. The last thing I ever watched, like dedicated, like I turned everything else, was like the Ozark show on Netflix. And even then,
did you like how that ended?
I didn't
by
even
the way,
watch the new stuff. I didn't watch it yet. I didn't have the time for it. But like, fucking, for me, I'm actually gonna watch it like probably after this whole podcast thing. But for me, like, that was the last thing I ever watched on my like television, right? Like, just I fired it up back there. I'm like, I'll watch it all the way through. Now, like, everything I watch, whether it be podcasts, like movies, TV shows, anything, it's always like on a second like chunk of my monitor while I'm working on something. Because
the only exception for that with me is when I'm just going to bed. Like I've got this like clamp that has an iPad attached to it, and so I'm just sitting in bed and I have it over me, and I might spend time watching like an hour or something. But,
that's pretty cool. The old clamp
run versus 4 cheaters.
I can't believe that Dream speedrun. That was the peak of like what I consider to be the funniest YouTube drama in my entire fucking life.
That was
like,
now,
now,
everything went to shit
nowadays,
after
like,
that.
everyone always has to talk about stupid, like really like hardcore shit. You know, it's got to be super politicized.
Yeah, did you see Bella Porch's latest tweet?
I didn't see it. What did she say?
I got notifications on.
It's good. It's good.
What?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I don't know who is that.
Bella Porch's. She's like a big TikTok.
I really don't know who that is.
That tweet, yeah.
This one with the weird face and whatever. I know which. Yeah, but what'd she say?
I'll show you the tweet here real quick, guys. Hold on.
It's art.
What'd she say? What'd she say? Tell us.
Oh, this is the thing. Look, I'm sharing it. That's her tweet. That's
what?
Oh, nice.
Oh, Bella Porch.
That's Bella Porch. Yeah.
Who brought up Dream? Was this? Did you?
I brought it
awesome
up because I thought that
awesome
controversy was the best.
Boom.
I thought the
Bella
controversy.
Awesome pick.
Let's go.
This is the one thing where I definitely agreed with XQC on, and I don't agree with XQC on anything, but like when he watched Bella Porch's TikTok, I was like, where's the fuck is the content? I'm like, I agree. I can't identify it. Because it was like,
dude, it's because you don't understand, okay?
She was in the military, guys.
You just don't get hard when it comes to lip syncing.
I like the whole Dream controversy a lot, because when I woke up that morning and fucking I read the words Harvard physicist and Minecraft speedrun, not in different paragraphs, in the same paragraph, I was like, I'm in for a good day today.
I gotta ask. Did you see the finale? Did you actually watch Carl Jobs' video about it? Because that was the
I did.
That was the final thing where it turned, well, at least according to Carl, that Dream really didn't know he cheated. At least that was Carl's opinion. So like Dream did cheat, but was unaware.
I don't know.
Yeah, see,
he had like a mod
I'm
or
still
something.
iffy on it because he had an epiphany in the bathtub like 5 months later. That, oh my god!
I thought the story made sense because as a person who talked to Dream, and I was just like, this guy, because obviously I'm biased. I can't say I'm a perfect assessment of people's character, but he did not come across to me as a dude who knowingly cheated. I as a person who's been in speedrunning a long time, I personally have on many occasions accidentally used mods during a run. Because my modded...
Okay, but he fought tooth and nail.
Yeah, because he didn't know.
Like, at that point... Okay, no. At that point, you look back and you're like, wait a second. If it's actually a 1 in 7 trillion chance, you don't say, well, it had to happen to somebody.
I mean, because...
That was his argument.
But in his mind, he believed he didn't cheat. So it had... Like, even if it was 1 in 7 trillion, he's like, well, it has to be that way because I didn't cheat, so fuck you. And it makes... all his attitude of just being so combative and calling everyone assholes and shit. It all makes sense. Like, who the fuck is going to that length to hire another professional to go over the paper if you're not in the right?
Hire a professional though. Like, I know money's obviously the factor, but it's like, how do you wake up as a Harvard physicist and one of your contracts is debunking the statistics of a Minecraft speed?
That's pretty awesome.
It's just such a strange story, but yeah.
I don't think you cheated, Matt. I think you're honest.
As far as you know, right? No, I don't.
I mean, it like the thing about it is like,
but unintentionally, I have cheated in the sense that I've played on modded versions of the game, but in our speedruns, if you try to do a save warp, the game crashes if you have mods in your game. And so I've been like 2 hours into a run, done a save warp, and gone, oh fuck, I'm using my modded version, and I've changed to the correct version. But as far as Dream is argued, he was just connected to another world that looks exactly the same as a normal game of Minecraft, but the drops are tweaked.
Just increased his chances.
Yeah, because it's for the content of his what's his series, whatever it is.
The Dream SMP.
The Hunter
thing.
Manhunt or whatever they have.
Yeah, and so that's a naturally tweaked server because you don't want to sit there farming for shit for 20 minutes. Like I'm saying,
Manhunt.
yeah. It was such a clusterfuck, and I don't blame people for thinking that Dream is like, I don't know, playing 17-dimensional chess or some shit, and he really cheated from the get-go.
He's the Trump of Minecraft.
But as a person who talked to him, I think I buy Carl's story and his arguments that Dream was unknowingly cheating, although did cheat. But please don't send me hate about me saying that, because I got so much hate in that Dream thing.
Tweet it.
I probably did at the time, but people hated my guts during that period.
So, dude, I watched your reaction series thing, and I do disagree with a lot of the things you ended up saying. But the one thing that I did see that like stood out to me was that Ludwig's video, like he made a video saying how it's not luck, and he wanted to prove that if you just promote, if you get reacted to, you can go viral, right? So he got Ms. Gift to react to one of his videos, to a video on like a new channel, and the video ended up doing well. Like, so it kind of proves that reaction content helps the channel. But then when you look at the analytics, it says that like 50% of the views came from search.
And then
not
he leaked
from, like,
it out, a few too many times.
3 times!
He talked about it 3 times on his podcast before. Like, for me, that was like the red herring, you know?
Well, like, that's when it shows me, it's like people, because I've seen that video from Ludwig before. People are like, hey, look, isn't this scientifically proven? And then like, this is why it's like, this is why you can't trust a general fucking viewer, okay? Because a general fucking viewer is fucking stupid when it comes to how YouTube works. It's only when another fucking YouTuber looks into the actual video for 5 fucking seconds and sees in the screenshot in the analytics dashboard, search history. We know what the fuck that is. Most people watching it looked up the video.
Millions of people watched it and no one made the connection. But even worse than that, on the video itself, as it turns out, people left comments saying like, hey, I came from your podcast, man. This is a cool video. And no one said anything.
Oh,
and I'm like,
I know.
Why am I the?
Come on, it's a little disingenuous. I think Ludwig is like one of my favorite streamers, like by far.
Interesting dude.
But that's a little disingenuous.
Because I don't think he intentionally did this. Like
I don't think so either.
I think he just half-assed this. It was like a thing he was just doing for the fucking hell of it. He probably didn't think it was going to get 5 million views or whatever. It was just something he was doing as a thing on the side. But it got so much attention, and it's referenced so much as like his reactions definitely work. Look at this video.
Like he is silent about it too, right? I don't want to say that silence makes you culpable or any of that.
I talked him into the DMs. He said, "Oh yeah," he implied he didn't know, and that what I said that he leaked it in the podcast is true.
It also helps when you have $600 to throw at like making your first video look really fucking good.
The whole thing. Methodology terrible, philosophically terrible. The end result terrible. It was. I hate that video so goddamn much.
However, banger YouTube video though.
5 million views
for a general audience. Dude, it was a great video.
I mean, that's like for me. I was like, when I watched that video, I'm like, man, I wish my first video wasn't recorded on a fucking shitty smartphone microphone of like fucking DVD video recording of like.
I remember sitting.
Yeah.
I sat in front of my laptop with like a $20 microphone, just speaking into it. Yeah, it's a good time.
You saw my first video, Muda, and the video we recorded last week. My Borderlands modding video.
I did.
2010.
You know, the best part about my first videos ever is like when it came to even the computer, like I was rendering it on a pirated version of Sony Vegas on like the world's shittiest fucking crappy laptop in the world. I had to like get a fucking desk fan and I had to position it on the laptop so it wouldn't burn the fucking CPU out from rendering the video. Because the first time I tried doing it, the system blacked out. I'm like, wait a minute, it's just getting hot. So I like fucking literally set it in front of a desk fan. I'm like, make it all the way true. That's how most of my videos were rendered. So every time I rendered those first 100 videos, stuck the fucking computer on the goddamn like and prayed to God that the video would render. And then I watched Ludwig's video. I'm like, man, I wish I had $600 to throw at every fucking video I had. That would have been fucking
It's an interesting topic, though. I've heard of at least one creator coming to YouTube and having a good enough idea and good enough presentation just from the get-go to get successful, or like get 5,000 views, whatever, and snowball from there off just a couple of videos. But that is so goddamn rare. And the channel is The Company Man, if you've heard of them. They made a 5-year retrospective recently, and they said, like, my third video popped off, and it gave me a drive to keep going, and you know, built from that. But me personally, it took like a long time before I got any real traction.
Yeah. It took me at least 3 years until I was getting like 10,000 views.
I uploaded every day of 2015 and 2016, and then the first, and I had a job for 2015 as well, and I would like edit at night. And my first video that did well, I collabed with this guy named Matt Shea, who's like one of my good friends, and it got like 200,000 views. And then it just like kind of snowballed from that point on.
In my mind, you have to have a really fucking banging idea to carry your shitty presentation to start going strong. Either that, or you just gotta, you gotta work and build up your skill and talent until you find something that really works for you.
My videos were horrible.
Yeah,
still are.
Well, it's like if you told me, like, if we had to restart YouTube now, I'd be much more comfortable attacking YouTube than my first fucking week of the job.
If I would restart YouTube now, honest to God, I would go on Twitch, react to every video on the planet, and re-upload all that shit, dude. That is exactly
that's
what
the
I would
easiest way to do it, for sure.
I'm making fun of it. I'm calling it unethical, but I'm telling you, I would do that without a doubt in my mind.
You're not wrong, because like even when we talk.
Oh.
Nope, what?
You
just cut out my
bro.
Muda. Nice, you figured it out. Yes. Yes.
Happens again.
We've been expecting you.
Bro, Muda's mic is the Trump of the
podcast.
podcast.
I'm saying, like, as much as I know now about this industry, especially if I had to try and get into a different industry if I started again, I'm not really sure how I would do it.
Is it
like, a lot of it
now?
is right place, right time with right skills.
For sure.
Like, certainly I would have a better shot starting with what I know now, but I'm not confident that I could grow to be what I am today.
No, there's still that luck factor. You gotta like fucking climb the hump over.
Luck.
It's like when Destiny was telling us last week, right? Like he was like fucking a 5,000 like viewed like stream on Twitch is worth way more than like I think it was like a fucking 200-300K sub channel on YouTube. And I was like, I kind of fucking agree with that. Like if you can learn to snowball those like Twitch viewers. And again, it always comes down to the reactors. You could make some banger clips on YouTube and succeed on the algorithm nowadays, right? Like if you just release that kind of content en masse onto YouTube, especially if it was longer form and just want it always, like, even when it comes to the reaction, right? Like fucking when you have a 20-minute video that you worked your ass off on and then like the reaction is 40 minutes, so they're like, therefore it must be transformative. They also forget the thing that if the algorithm favors that long form content, congratulations, your 40-minute video is
it cannibalizes the 20-minute video.
20-minute one, you know?
I've seen examples where you can Google or search for the video and the reactions will come up first because they're made by larger channels and have more views.
It is insane.
Yeah, it's just not fair.
It's like the thing is it is that whole ethics versus legality argument. Obviously, what they're doing is legal.
Yeah.
In that it hasn't been tested.
Obviously
Tested yet, for sure, right? Just like
it's not against the terms of service for the different platforms.
But
would you call something illegal if the quote unquote victim is okay with it, or at least has not cried foul? Is it still illegal?
The victim can't be okay with it, and here's why. Like I've talked to so many people behind the scenes, and you have too, and I know that they are. When I made that video a few days ago. Dude, there were so many fucking friends of mine, good friends, and I'm not going to name them, but large creators who get reacted to on the same time. It's like, oh, I'm so glad this video was made. Do you know, in behind the scenes, like, we literally are discussing, like, just having, like, a fucking union introduction style thing on a fucking... No joke. Like, literally, I was talking to it. It's like, what if we all just had, like, the same stinger in the first, like, 10 seconds of the video that said, hey, if you're watching this on Twitch, consider going to my channel. And I'm like, that's not a fucking bad idea. But the reality is no one wants to do it if you have like sub 1 million subscribers or like if you don't have like that established fan base.
True.
Because nobody wants to be at that fucking attack mine. Like XQC reacted to that video I made, right? Where like he agreed with the majority of points, but his chat, and that is the most if you want to see a chat most devoid of intellectual capacity, It's the XQC chat room, all right? Simple. I cannot believe.
Bro, the funniest thing, well, every time you're talking, and the whole chat is like the glasses emoji, like, I don't know what he's saying. And then XQC says, bro, it's not dipping from one type of sauce to another type of sauce, it's the same sauce. And then it's all like five head in the chat.
I'm like, it shows me that, like, this is the largest group of community, like, this is the largest community that has, like, a sub-fucking average IQ. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it because it's the fucking absolute truth of the matter from what I witnessed, right? Like, if I put any scientific proof, that's the fucking scientific proof. But I watched it, and then I'm like, okay, so all of a sudden, you know, he did the exact same fucking thing I was saying, right? Like, he took the video, created a market substitute, re-uploaded it,
It was
called
amazing.
it a day. I'm like,
It was amazing.
What the fuck?
It was amazing. He agreed with the whole video and then re-uploaded. Did you see his pinned comment?
It's like,
Did you
I
see
won't
his pinned
strike
comment?
you. And it's completely ignoring the fact, even the video, I'm like, I'm not going to fucking waste my time striking.
His pinned comment was go subscribe to some ordinary gamer so he doesn't copyright strike me.
Oh my god.
You watch the whole video, you know that I'm not going to copyright strike. You know that's not my prerogative. I literally said if you're a smaller creator, feel free to claim the video. Like, that's your fucking shit. Claim it, all right? You don't have to remove the reaction.
Yeah.
See, no one wants to. No, if you're small and you're not successful, you don't want to risk potentially, stopping your success.
Shit.
But if you're already successful, you've got a good thing going. You don't want to fuck that up. No one's in that particular position to be risk-free in striking a huge channel and potentially facing all that backlash. At the end of the day, what are you going to achieve? The reactors will still just react to someone else, and you'll have taken down one video. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Because there's potential solutions for this problem that don't involve the audience going, this is not fucking on. There's not many that would do much at all.
There's a lot of people that would just let
I think we put a bunch of fireworks in the RNC.
No! Well, wait, this is why I'm glad we're not live, okay? Our editor can always cut it out. Unlike some other podcasts that let it go, cut it out, and still got striked.
I think we just go ahead and commit some kind of heinous crime.
Can you...
What do you guys think?
Can you imagine, just for a minute...
He does not represent me.
That was...
You can tell by my smile that I'm joking. I'm just joking. Let me walk that back. Let me walk that back.
Are you sure that was a joke? I don't know.
Oh, you must be a conservative.
Well, you got me there. That's a supremely great line of thinking. Just demonize whoever you hate.
Oh, you just hate Caleb because he's a
You just hate me because I just don't like women. That's all.
Oh my.
Fuck you, bro.
You're the king of making the most out of context clips I've ever fucking seen. This guy. The thing is, man, when we're in this situation now, we're in this fucking world where, like, some of the biggest creators who've been on this platform for years can have hot takes like that, leave it up, get striked. Shows me that maybe we're in a wrong...
Maybe PewDiePie saying the N-word
maybe it wasn't the wildest thing I've ever seen, right? Like, shit. Maybe, like, it gets to the point where we literally have calls for domestic terrorism on YouTube, basically, just running around free. I'm like, the thing is, it weirds me out so much, and I do want to touch on that point, right? Like, if you have anybody of any political leaning, right, it's usually like, I see it all the time, all right, at least on, like, YouTube, right? Like, there's so many people that have to tiptoe that algorithmic line, like, where they don't get fucking their video removed, you know what I mean? Like, anybody on any side. But then all of a sudden you just have, like, the top upper echelons of YouTube, like, politics, just straight up saying some of the most fucking outrageous shit. And it's like, oh, you got a slap on the wrist. Like, I swear to God, there were other channels that got removed for far fucking less,
Oh,
Back in the day,
Alex Jones did nothing to this degree.
No, I disagree.
Nothing.
Alex Jones is insane.
The Sandy Hook thing was pretty bad, dude.
He was a conspiracy theorist, but he didn't call for violence.
I think there are some clips of him saying some pretty fucked up shit, my guy.
Okay, to be fair, I don't know everything you said.
Yeah,
I cannot believe that we're on a podcast right now and the damn PNG just sided with Alex Jones. What the fuck is going on right now?
Alex.
Yo, shut your mouth or I'm going to react to this and re-upload it on my channel, okay?
It's just like, dude, I go on.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Like, okay, fine. Imagine all of a sudden, right? Like, somebody did the same exact joke, but replace NRA with Planned Parenthood. Bro, I think the entire internet would shit itself even harder.
Yeah, you'd be wiped off the internet.
You'd be fucking removed.
Like if who's even someone who's like kind of like middle. If someone who's if you're saying that you're just inherently not middle ground, so I guess I don't know. I just hate politics,
I don't know who'd be a
dude.
middle political YouTuber because, like,
I mean, Philip DeFranco is probably as close as you're going to get, and he's more lefty kind of.
He definitely
I mean,
is.
but I mean, left
He's
and
a
right
lot
is always
more
kind of
lefty, yeah.
stupid as a dividing line,
agree.
whatever, you know.
Yeah. We're all human,
say,
man.
The issue is no one could be centrist or they're not going to have an audience.
Yeah, like Philip
Like,
DeFranco was literally
what
a
audience wants to
but he was a
watch
fence
the
sitter for a long fucking time, like on every issue, and it would piss off everyone to no end. And now his opinions are more actual takes than they were for like, I don't know, it was like between 2016 and 2018, I'm not sure. But you're right. It is better to appeal to a particular crowd rather than trying to cast the widest net when it comes to politics.
I think so this is my thing when like people mention the word centrism, right? It's like it kind of like excludes the ability for somebody to have like the occasional like viewpoint from the side that they don't like primarily default with, right? Like even though I'm like a lefty guy, you know what I mean? Like when you talk to me about firearms, right? I can sound pretty fucking right-leaning, you know what I mean? Like, if you sat with me at a bar and we talked about guns and that was the only thing, I'd come across as the most right-wing leaning fucking guy you'd ever find, right? I'd be like, I fucking love guns, I love going hunting and all that fucking shit. And then if you ask me about every other side, I'd be like, oh, this guy's like really fucking left-leaning, cares about the environment, all that other shit. So, I don't know, the whole centrist thing kind of like excludes the ability for like people to sometimes like agree with certain other angles, you know what I mean? Like
it is true that in most cases, if I can get your position on one issue, I can be almost right every single time on all other issues. It is true that people tend to clump and get influenced by those around them. Like if you believe the same things as a group 7 out of 8, you're eventually probably gonna move and accept that 8 as well, just not to be the odd one out on that position on that issue.
It does become
because you conform to the group that you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like all of a sudden, like that's why.
Like when I think of centrism, what I usually think of is people who just do not want to take a stance. They just sit on the fence and go, "Hey guys, we've all got opinions at the end of the day." And for some people, that's fine if you're not a political sort of person. But if you're talking about politics, you should probably be having a position on things. You know.
Yeah, but to be fair, the idea that I don't know, I find it weird that people like either on the left or on the right, they agree with all the right wing takes or all the left wing takes. Like Muda said, people are mixed.
Okay, we'll sit down over here, right? Like, let's do like
way.
a simple take, right? Like, hey, do you guys think racism is bad? I think racism is terrible. Do you know in some circles that's a fucking? They're like, wow, why would you? That's a weird take to have. Really? You know, it's like people. Like, I have people on Twitch chat who are like, Muda, what are your opinion on transgender rights? I'm like, what the fuck do we mean? Why would I dislike that? What the fuck? Why would you think that's made?
That's
oh my god.
Whenever I say anything, or people are always asking me because I have guns and I live in Texas and I have a mustache, I guess people automatically think that I am racist. That I don't think I don't think transgender people are real people. And I'm just like, what do you like? I don't even think about this stuff because I don't like. Obviously. I believe stuff that is just so fucking obvious and logical. I don't even think about it. You know what I mean? I don't have like. What are you talking about? Why are you asking me these stupid questions?
You have to remind people. No, I don't go to like fucking racist websites.
Yeah, dude.
And just, what?
I literally have to remind people that I'm not a racist Texan. I'm not even a Texan. I'm from Virginia.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I believed you were racist this entire time. This is all news for me.
This is news to me, bro.
Fuck you, bro.
Every time you call me a PNG, I kind of feel like it's coming from an anti-Semitic
He's a
place.
JK man.
He just does this to knock that Indian and anti-Semitic tag off of him. You know, it's like.
Oh god.
No, but
Bro, a Muslim, a Jew, and a Texan walk into a bar.
That's why he does it. He's like, fuck it, I just.
I'm a Texan.
No, but that's like the general thing, right? Like nobody's fence sitting when they do shit like that, right? And then obviously you get into like certain issues. I wish people were just like this is the thing why like I hate the whole idea. Like when it came back to like the whole boogie stuff, right? And I hate to keep bringing them up because I know that I'm gonna get like a DM about it fucking the next day, and I don't want to fucking bother with it. But like it's always like fucking the whole like when I called him a fence sitter, he's like, I'm just having my takes. I'm like, no, your takes are you fence sit on like even the slightest things. When Ethan was in like the hospital, right? Like, and he made that one like tweet. It's like, I know a lot of people hate this guy, bro. Why even bring that up on a Twitter thing, right? Like if somebody, dude. my biggest enemy could be in the hospital, you know? And it's like, oh, are they on the cusp of dying? Oh shit, wish you well. That's the tweet, right? Why even invoke some level of controversy? Why even get
Reminds me of that
weird?
Keemstar thing about Total Biscuit that one time. Remember where he's like, I can't wait to report your death. I'm like, my guy. Even if you hate him,
Yeah, bro. Come on, dude. I used to fucking love Total Biscuit so much.
Yeah, me too. It's a
shame. Yeah.
It's bad memories. But I just mean, some people just don't like the idea of getting pushback on their ideas, and so the second they get pushback, they're just like, okay, I'm walking this back immediately. They don't want to anger people.
Like, no.
Yeah. On one hand, there's Destiny, who's like, I don't give a fuck what you think. I will go against the 99% on any issue. Whatever. And then there's like, Boogie, who's like, the second he gets a little bit of pushback, he's just, folds like a house of cards. Destiny last episode talking about React content, where he was just like, yeah, it's fucking exploitative, so fucking what, I do it.
I can almost respect that level of like, fuck you, I'm gonna do it, because at least you admit the failings of it. And while I may dislike the fact that you still do it, it's like, you're not gonna sit there and try to fucking paint me out to be the bad guy, or like try to like misrepresent a fact. You've completely agreed that I'm right.
Ludwig was kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Ludwig in his response was like, yeah, this is exploited, but I mean, everyone's going to do it. If I don't do it, I'm going to fall behind. This is legal, da-da-da. And I say I have my disagreements with that approach, but Ludwig was his response made the most sense. Compared to everyone else. Like H3H was basically incoherence. XQC
I couldn't watch the H3H3 video from you. Like,
yeah, dude,
that was
it's
so
incoherent. It really was. You're right about that.
Your series, I was like, oh man, look, I was so tempted to just go to the next one, because it was like free speech. I'm like,
the Hassan one wasn't any better, but it was more interesting. Because like React content should be if anyone exists who should be against React content, it should be Hassan, because of his political leanings with socialism and stuff. But he's just got a blind spot to it because it makes him so much fucking money. Or, as I argue, maybe he isn't as, firebrand for that kind of position. Yeah. What do they call him? A champagne socialist is his criticism.
I can't stand listening to, like, takes in stream.
Champagne socialist.
Stream format.
It was like 5 hours.
All stream takes are so painful. You never get to the point, and, like, you're beating around the bush. You're repeating yourself 47 times. It's not thought out either. Yes. It's just like, I'll just ramble for 5 hours. Good luck dissecting
this one. Any argument for React content has to contend with that this could have been a commentary video, and it would have been infinitely better. You would have been more well thought out. You would have already known what's in the video. You could write something. You could edit it, and your response would be infinitely better. The only reason to do a reaction is because you don't want to spend the time. You're lazy, or you want the audience there. It doesn't make better content in terms of your ability to respond to stuff.
Videos, I get rambly for sure. I'm totally guilty of it. But even like if I have to make a point, like because I can't do scripts. Like if I do strips, I sound completely deadpan, and it's terrible.
Oh, but you can make secondary takes if you feel like you're not there, and you can edit stuff out.
More than that, you edit it. Your video goes through an editing process.
Even when I'm going on a ramble, I have my notes that I go through, right? Because I have to that all my evidence like hyperlink, so I like bring that up really quickly just to like reference it and go into it. I can't just sit there and have like a 40-minute take stuttering my way through a fucking
That scared the shit out of me.
Like,
what was that sound?
What sound? What happened? In my
no joke. H3H3 36 fucking times just said this is freedom of speech, and that was his entire fucking argument. Drove me mad. And Hassan would sit there for like a full minute and say nothing in his stream, just reading chat. And I'm just like, awful.
Well, yeah. I like how you use the H3 legal case and just deconstructed that whole video. I'm like, what the fuck?
I could have, if I wanted to, just taken his old content talking about fair use and his current stances and had them communicate, and you just see he completely contradicts his prior beliefs, because he's now doing stuff with Hassan. He doesn't want to be like, oh yeah, Hassan is an exploitive person, not abiding by fair use.
I love our podcast. We had Hassan.
That's H3 next.
Destiny. This is H3 such a next. Good podcast. Yo, Ethan.
I do like the show because it's anyway. Like none of us are afraid of a pushback on any of these situations. Like I'd love to have H3 on to discuss the finer points of free speech and like
and domestic terrorism,
fair use, and
yeah.
Well, I'd like to ask Ethan about like what his choice on like Tannerite or Semtex. Which one is preferred in certain situations. But I think we're gonna end the whole video on here. I think Tar, you might have to cut out the two last points that I just made, because I don't know if we get
Yeah.
striked. Clearly, the rules on YouTube are a little different depending on how large or how in bed you are with the higher ups.
By the way, Tara is my editor. She's a girl, non-misogynist.
No, he's still a misogynist.
No.
Thank you, Dark Viper, for showing up today. You want to plug anything specific? Your channel, Twitch channel, everything?
Yeah, it was great fun. The time just flew
Yeah, that was
by.
good. This was a good episode.
Forever, haven't we? Yeah.
That's how you know the episode.
DarkViperAU everywhere. YouTube primarily. Check me out. Do a lot of GTA speedrun stuff and commentary and blah blah blah. And I occasionally make analogies that no one likes. So,
Dude, that was so bad. That was so bad.
I just wish people had cared about the document. Everything else that I said, as much as that analogy.
In my video, I mentioned
the
it.
analogy out there, they had to dig that one point to deconstruct the other truth.
Dude, because it's such a memeable
I know.
moment.
I
Imagine
know it's
comparing
memeable, but
React
I wish
streamers to
reality
rapists.
was different.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, I always find it funny because you can identify the people that have ever went to college or worked a real job just off the 14-page meme. Because anybody that bitched about 14 pages that hard obviously has never written anything for a university, has never worked in the real fucking world.
And might not be able to read. Just in general.
That's true. When I saw the...
Dude, you can't... If it's not pee-pee...
Yeah.
Pee-pee laugh or pee-pee hello or
Peepo,
peepo
five
hi.
head.
Dude, even the Twitch, like the XQC reaction, I was reading through the comments, some of the people were writing in Twitch speak, and I literally had to freeze in my head. I'm like,
L take. Hey, Dark Viper, L take. Dark Viper.
Oh god.
XQCL.
H3 did
XQCL.
that in person. He was like L. I was just like, what is wrong with you? You're like, what is it, 40? God damn.
L take.
anybody?
I'm gonna write an essay about how you're a pee-pee head. I'm like, what the fuck? What is his audience?
My brother did that to me one day. The whole day, he started speaking in Twitch chat terms to
Peepo.
me, and he was like, "Yeah, that's all he was doing, just to piss me off." I would call him, and he would.
How are you
he'd be
doing today?
Every time he'd come to my house, XQCL, Pepe. I'm like, okay, all right, we need to stop it right fucking there, because I guess he was just done understanding it. But yeah, that's a fine rule. We probably made a lot of enemies this episode. We probably reinforced a lot of enemies with certain people, but I like to have a mentality of fuck it. All right, I serve with a right moral ethic serve with the right ethics. Try to step on as many try to not step on as many toes as you can. But I don't feel bad burning bridges with people that I don't agree with ethically. Okay, I've done it in the past and I can do it now, and I think that's the mark of you as a person and the path you take on in your life. All right, that's just how I go with it. I think it's terrible if you just sort of sit and accept everything. All right, you got to have some hard stances, and you got to be willing to live with that in life. But that's pretty much what I want to end on.
Shout out to women.
We all are not misogynist.
Positive message.
Don't
I'm the
take
Trump
it
of this
as faith, though.
podcast. I'm just misunderstood and I have great hair.
Hey, you're the one who showed us that rub map site with the perfect Trump accent. So I don't know, man.
Rubmaps.ch. Look it up.
Well, everyone, thank you all for showing up. This is me, Muda, Dark Viper, Caleb, and Nux, and we are bidding out.